As your sister-in-law, I expect you to show some pride.
The one looking down on me as a mere high school graduate is the bride, who graduated from a prestigious music academy. I'm currently attending my brother's wedding, and the bride suddenly asked me to perform on the piano. However, I never told her that I'm good at playing the piano. I felt this action was clearly an intentional provocation from her. What surprised me even more was that Jessica began hinting at her dishonest behavior towards my brother, Derek.
In my heart, I have a true lover other than Derek.
As I stood in front of the piano, my legs shaking with nerves, Jessica looked down on me with a sarcastic smile. However, the events that followed would change the look on her face. I, Hannah Brown, am 32 years old and still single. Currently, I work as a wedding planner and my daily tasks keep me very busy. The only family I have is my younger brother, Derek. Our parents divorced when I was in high school, and a few years later, our mother passed away in a sudden accident. I've been unable to contact my biological father since then and couldn't receive any child support, so our life was very tough. Due to the lack of funds for college, I started working right after high school, and Derek and I supported each other through life. Derek, who is 3 years younger than me, was always outstanding, so much so that I was proud of how intelligent he was. In college, Derek had an excellent academic record, received a full scholarship, and could focus on his studies for 4 years. Thanks to his hard work, after graduating, he was able to join one of the most renowned corporations in the country. After joining, Derek continued to show his capabilities, achieving success in many projects. Amidst his busy life, Derek was getting ready for a significant event, his wedding. The woman he chose is the daughter of one of the top executives at his company. According to Derek, not only is she beautiful, but she also has a caring nature and is good at housework. What's more surprising is that she graduated top of her class from a prestigious music academy and now runs her own piano school where she teaches many students. With the wedding to such a woman approaching, the day finally came for both families to meet. That day, it was her parents, and the two of us, a total of 5 people.
Nice to meet you. I am Jessica Jones.
I had seen her photo before, but seeing her in person, her beauty and elegance stood out even more. And then, a very intriguing proposal came from Jessica.
Dear sister-in-law, I've heard that you work at a wedding venue. If it's all right, we'd like to have our precious wedding at the place you work. What do you think?
Of course, I'm honored. I will do my best to support you. It was a joy to be able to directly support the day that would become a lifelong memory for Derek. The parents of Jessica, sitting next to her, started to talk about Jessica's childhood with bright expressions.
Jessica has been showcasing her talent in piano since childhood and has won awards at numerous competitions. We're extremely proud of her accomplishments.
Her father seemed extremely proud of Jessica's talent in playing the piano. However, he shifted the topic to a particular girl that Jessica was always competing against.
No matter how hard Jessica tried, she would always come in second to the same rival girl. It became a significant stress for Jessica. That girl's name was...
Let's not talk about that today.
From Jessica's expression, it was evident that this topic was still a sore spot for her. The conversation shifted back to a lighter topic, and the mood gradually became relaxed. But shortly after, my cell phone rang and I had an urgent call. I had to temporarily leave the table, and on the way, our eyes met as Jessica returned from the restroom. Thank you very much for today. I genuinely appreciate the delightful conversation with everyone. To which I conveyed, Jessica's response was unexpected.
It's commendable of you to attend such an important meeting, even though you haven't graduated from college.
I was momentarily taken aback by Jessica's unexpected words. Jessica left that comment and headed back to the main room. I took a deep breath, trying to comprehend what went wrong. I wonder why her attitude changed. After finishing my work call, I managed to return to my seat, feigning calmness. Surprisingly, in the main room, Jessica was back to her usual graceful and friendly demeanor.
Dear sister-in-law, what would you like to drink for the toast?
Jessica offered me the menu with a sincere smile. Although I was still unsettled, I didn't want to sour the mood, so I didn't mention the earlier incident, and the meeting proceeded in a friendly atmosphere. However, a few days later, during a meeting to discuss the wedding details, my suspicions about Jessica's behavior turned into a firm conviction. When it was just the two of us, Jessica began to act somewhat distant towards me.
I'm sorry, sister-in-law. But you and Derek really look and act quite differently, don't you think?
Why does she always seem to criticize my appearance and life situation? Every time Jessica brings up such topics, I try to understand her true intentions. As a matter of fact, she has repeatedly pointed out that I haven't graduated from college and am still single.
I understand you're busy planning other people's weddings, but don't you think you should take some time to consider your own future and marriage?
I appreciate your concern.
But, considering that you didn't graduate from college and grew up in a single mother household, it might be difficult for you to find a good match.
Moreover, Jessica boasted about her piano skills and compared her life choices with mine.
I have won top prizes in many piano competitions. In contrast, you entering the workforce at a young age shows the difference in our life paths.
Jessica's words increasingly hurt me. Even though she's the woman Derek chose as his future wife, why is she so cold towards me? But seeing how close Derek and Jessica are, I decided not to mention Jessica's attitude to him. Time flew, and the day of their wedding finally arrived. Jessica was the daughter of a prominent company, and many company associates and acquaintances attended the ceremony due to this connection. Many guests were invited for the occasion, and the venue was bustling. Given the special day, our family was treated like VIPs. As the elder sister of the groom, most people would probably expect me to take the day off, but I wanted to support my brother's once-in-a-lifetime moment not only as a spectator but also behind the scenes, so I was busy working as a staff member until just before the wedding began. As the start time of the ceremony approached, I went to the restroom for a final touch-up on my makeup. At that moment, two of Jessica's close female friends entered. I wasn't sure if I should greet them, but since the ceremony was about to begin, I decided to quietly continue with my makeup. However, the content of their conversation was very intriguing. Without worrying about being overheard, they openly started discussing a hidden secret about Jessica.
Hey, do you want to hear something shocking? I've heard the rumor that Jessica has another boyfriend.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Apparently, the guy is a male stripper. Jessica herself has said that this marriage is only for appearances and her true feelings lie elsewhere.
If that's the case, I'm really worried about the groom who's getting married without knowing any of this.
My mind was confused, and I couldn't make sense of what was happening. How could this be? If I had known about this earlier, maybe the wedding would have been postponed or even cancelled. However, without confirming the truth, I couldn't abruptly call off this important day. Despite my mixed feelings, the wedding ceremony moved on to the next phase. As the wedding reached its halfway point, it was a time for performances by the guests. Jessica's friends are talented individuals who graduated from music academies. They performed one heart-touching number after another using various instruments they brought with them. During this, Jessica made an unexpected announcement.
Now, let's have a piano performance by my sister-in-law, Hannah.
At that moment, all eyes in the venue turned to me, and I was taken aback. What? What's she talking about? I never told Jessica about my experience with the piano. In fact, I never told Jessica that I could play the piano, and I couldn't process her sudden request. Moreover, there was no schedule for my piano performance in the program. The piano was set on stage for Jessica to play later. The staff was hastily preparing the piano following Jessica's sudden announcement. I was so shocked that I froze on the spot. In the meantime, Jessica rose from her bridal seat and walked towards me. She grabbed my wrist and pulled me forcefully.
Come on, over to the stage.
Even while predicting the unfolding scenario, it was clear that Jessica intended to forcefully bring me close to the piano. Wait, I've never heard about this before. As the guests' attention turned to us, I tried to protest to Jessica in a low voice. But then, Jessica whispered in my ear with a cold and low voice.
Whenever I look at you, I feel a surge of anger. So, I wanted to trouble you a little.
You're doing this to me for such a trivial reason?
Yes, exactly.
Seeing Jessica with a sarcastic smile, anger surged within me. Jessica's expression turned even colder, and she began revealing her true feelings and plans just to me.
If you refuse to perform here, this wedding will turn into chaos. If I complain to my father, there's a high chance that Derek will be ousted from his company.
Would you really want the person you claim to love to lose his job?
To be honest, I don't really have deep feelings for Derek. There's someone else deep in my heart. This marriage was mostly due to my parents' strong wishes.
I strongly felt that the secret conversation I heard in the restroom was indeed the truth after hearing her words. Without much time to accept this reality, it was time for me to take my position in front of the piano.
Come on, sister-in-law. Show us your piano skills.
Following Jessica's directive, I hesitantly took my seat at the piano. I felt my heart pounding heavily with anxiety.
Perhaps, being just a high school graduate, you've never played the piano before?
Slowly raising my head to look at Jessica, I saw a challenging glint in her eyes. The venue was filled with tension, and a staff member approached me, looking concerned.
Hannah, are you okay? You seem a bit off.
Jessica, on the other hand, had a confident expression about her actions.
I thought that being Derek's sister, you'd play the piano very well. But it seems I was mistaken. My apologies.
After saying that, Jessica bowed her head in an exaggerated apology. However, the atmosphere in the venue shifted with Derek's unexpected comment.
You don't know about my sister's musical background.
What do you mean?
Silently, I confidently placed my fingers on the piano keys and began to play passionately. The chosen piece was Liszt's Liebestraum, Love's Dream. Though it's a common piece heard at weddings, it requires advanced technique. As I began playing, the previous noisy atmosphere vanished, replaced by the piano's beautiful melody. Once the piece concluded, a wave of applause erupted from the attendees. My colleagues, not knowing I could play the piano at such a level, looked on in astonishment and admiration. Among them, some were even moved to tears. On one hand, Jessica was clearly angry, her cheeks flushed red, and there was anger in her eyes.
You were so nervous just a moment ago. How can you suddenly play so well?
Actually, I never told you, but I used to major in piano at a renowned music academy abroad. When I revealed the name of that academy, Jessica, taken aback, almost lost her balance. By the way, the reason I was shaking earlier was not just from nerves, but from the excitement of playing the piano in front of a crowd after such a long time.
There's no way someone like you, raised by a single parent, could have attended that prestigious university I've always admired.
Since I was young, I received intense piano training. There were several patrons around me who saw and believed in my talent and passion. But after my mother passed away suddenly, thinking of the tuition for my younger brother and our livelihood, I couldn't afford the high tuition fees, so I had to drop out of the music academy with a heavy heart and return back to the country. The reason I hadn't been open about my piano skills or history, especially in front of Jessica, was to avoid hurting her pride or self-esteem. Apparently, Derek had not revealed this to Jessica. Jessica, being someone who did not want to acknowledge someone else's accomplishments or background more than her own, seemed reluctant to accept my past efforts and experiences.
If you dropped out, I don't think that holds much value to mention.
At that moment, one of Jessica's friends in the group was staring at me, showing a surprised expression.
Wait, could you be the Smith who was a topic of discussion at an overseas music academy a few years ago? If so, she is far more talented than we imagined.
That woman seemed to have had a short study abroad experience at the music academy where I used to study, and she seemed to know well about my name and abilities.
Smith is a known name in the world of piano, right?
At those words, Jessica looked surprised and stared at me intently.
Could you be the Hannah Smith, who has achieved success in various competitions?
I haven't won in every competition, but yes, I've been awarded in several of them. In front of Jessica, I confessed that I continued to perform as Hannah Smith. This was the name I went by before my parents divorced.
I can't believe it. I had no idea about this.
I've faced off against you in piano competitions many times. Back then, I chose not to talk about my background in front of you and just quietly played the piano. As Jessica was enveloped in surprise, the host pointed a microphone at me.
Thank you for the wonderful performance and shocking confession. Ms. Smith, do you have any comments?
Feeling that my moment of revenge on Jessica had come, I decided to reveal a secret I had kept hidden. Everyone, please listen. Jessica has a hidden lover. At my unexpected confession, gasps of surprise erupted from the audience. Jessica's parents were also lost for words, their faces showing shock.
What are you talking about? Don't believe this lie.
Despite Jessica's denial, I calmly operated my smartphone and played a voice recording revealing Jessica's true nature to the hall.
I have another man I truly love. I just married him because of our parents' pressure.
The moment Jessica whispered this confession to me, I knew these words would be the bullet that would strike her in the future. Jessica's double life was exposed with evidence. Her face was a mix of shock and humiliation, and it became even paler.
You ungrateful wretch.
Jessica's father, in a burst of anger and disappointment, poured out harsh words of reproach towards Jessica. The hall was enveloped in this angry outburst and chaos.
I am sorry, Dad.
You're no longer a daughter of this house.
After that, my brother criticized Jessica with a voice mixed with anger and sadness.
Jessica, Why did you do this?
Right now, I'm only yours.
I can't believe this has happened. We'll annul this marriage.
Anger and despair were evident in Derek's words. The moment he pushed Jessica away, I could see the turmoil in Jessica's heart. Jessica, crushed by disappointment, was clearly trying to cling to me as her last resort.
Please, forgive me one more time. If everyone forgives me, I promise I'll change.
In Jessica's words, there was still a strong self-centered desire. Her self-preservation was the top priority, and I didn't hear any genuine words of apology towards me. I can't forget the wrongs you've done to me all this time.
But I don't know what I should do from now on.
True to her words, Jessica was worried about her future livelihood. While Jessica's affair partner seemed financially unstable, making a living with just his income appears challenging, but that was none of my concern. Your future is none of my business. The scars engraved in my heart will never heal.
So, my words hold no value anymore?
Jessica was at a loss for words, and tears streamed down her face. Her makeup smeared, and the area around her eyes turned pitch black. Seeing her like that was pitiful, yet it also reminded me of the unforgivable events of the past. Being a high school graduate was a reason for me to be looked down upon, and it hurt Derek deeply. There's no room for sympathy for you.
Please, forgive me.
I sincerely hope you never appear in front of us again. Jessica collapsed on the spot and was escorted out of the venue by her family members. Then, Jessica's parents apologized to the attendees, and the wedding was abruptly canceled. After the attendees left, I had a conversation with Derek.
I'm sorry for the trouble she caused you, sis.
I don't have any problems, but Derek, are you okay?
I need some time to sort out my feelings, but I'll definitely bounce back.
I believed in Derek's words and decided to watch over his future slowly. Later on, Derek and Jessica broke off their engagement, and Derek received $10,000 as compensation. Jessica was disowned by her parents and was forced to leave her home. Previously, Jessica's piano school was operated with the financial support of her parents. But due to the recent turmoil, that support was lost. Jessica started working part-time, but things didn't go smoothly, and she seemed to be in a challenging financial situation. Moreover, Jessica seems to have been abandoned by her boyfriend. It became clear that her affair partner was targeting Jessica's wealthy family background. Once the financial support stopped, he mercilessly dumped her. On the other hand, my younger brother took this incident as a turning point, faced his job sincerely, and seems to have built an impressive career. Derek's efforts bore fruit, and he appears to be paving a positive future. For me, the requests for piano performances at the venue have increased, and I'm enjoying more fulfilling days. I intend to continue offering emotional experiences to many people and further hone my piano performance skills.